Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my MLB DraftKings picks for the AL and NL wildcard games. Now for this slate, it's only a 2-game slate, so I'm going to go through each position, sort of highlight some of my favorite plays on this slate. I'm not just going to give you guys 5 picks here since it's only a 2-game slate. I figured I'd just go through each position and just touch on every player since it's only like 3 or 4 players at each position to hit on. I did post a poll on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. If you aren't following me on Twitter, be sure you are following me there. But I did post a poll. I asked how many of you guys would be playing the playoff MLB, and about 65-70% said they would be playing. So I figured I'd go ahead and make a video. I think I'll be making videos all the way through the playoffs, at least till NBA starts. I think NBA starts in like 2 weeks. The regular season it starts in like 2 weeks. So I'll be making MLB videos all the way up till then. As long as you guys are enjoying them, showing support, definitely will keep them coming for you until NBA starts. And of course, I'll also be doing my NFL videos every week. Should be posting those every Tuesday afternoon. So make sure you check those out as well. Would really appreciate that. The Week 4 NFL video did really good. Had a lot of good feedback, a lot of likes. The picks were very solid as well. Had a lot of good picks in that video. So make sure you are checking out my NFL videos as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started looking at this 2-game slate. Alright, so for the wildcard games, pretty sure most of you know this. Wildcard games are winner take all. Whoever wins gets to move on to the next round. So all these teams are obviously going to be going all out. They're going to be using their best possible lineups. So I don't think really any pitcher's in an absolute smash spot. If we were just looking at pitcher with, I'd say the best matchup would definitely be Luis Severino at home versus the Twins. I think he is in a good matchup out of all the 4 pitchers, but that's still not a great matchup. But when it gets into the playoffs like this, pitchers aren't really going to have good matchup. All the good teams are going to be playing against each other. All the best teams are still alive. So the pitchers aren't really going to have the most ideal matchup. But based on their talent level, they can still come through for you. And I think Luis Severino is one of those guys that could definitely come through for us today. I think he is the guy. He's probably the number 1 option today at 11K. Pitching at home, I think Severino will pitch very well. I think the Yankees are going to win this game. So I think Severino is going to get run support. And this Twins lineup definitely a little dangerous, have good power bats, but also guys that will strike out a lot versus righties. So I think Severino's the number 1 option in my opinion. He's pretty expensive at 11K, but I think it is easy to fit him in. I think there are definitely value bats you can target. So I'll be rolling with Luis Severino. I think he's the number 1 option at 11K. I'll plug him into the core. And then for SP2, the guy I'm definitely going with for SP2 on this slate is going to be Zack Greinke, 8,800, pitching at home against the Rockies. I think Greinke's definitely underpriced here. He has been struggling a little bit before the regular season ended. Had 2 really rough games. Put up -7 against the Marlins, 8 against the Royals. But I think this is a really good spot for Greinke. I think he's going to pitch well here against the Rockies. He has had success against the Rockies this year. Pitched 5 games against them, has averaged 22 DraftKings points. And Greinke also does pitch very well at home, and he will be pitching at home here. So I do really like this spot for Zack Greinke. I think he's probably the best SP2 option. Him and Severino is probably going to be the most popular combo. So if you're playing cash on this slate, I'd definitely go Severino and Greinke. But for tournaments, I don't mind going Jon Gray at 7,700. Gray does have good strikeout upside. That Diamondbacks lineup got definitely some strikeouts in there. Obviously, really dangerous hitters. But there are guys in that lineup that will strike out. So I do like Jon Gray. Ervin Santana at 7K. I don't think I'm going to have any exposure to Santana. I just don't think he's that good of a pitcher. Doesn't have a ton of upside. And especially going up against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, I think it's a really rough spot for Santana. Like I said, I think the Yankees are going to win this game. And the Yankees are probably my favorite offense to target on this slate. So I'm not going to be on Santana. The 3 pitchers I like are Severino, Greinke, and Gray. Severino and Greinke being my top 2 options. I just think they're in really good spots. Both of them are going to be pitching at home in must-win games, so I think they're going to pitch well. So I like Severino and Greinke as my 2 options today. Definitely don't mind Jon Gray if you want to get a little contrarian in tournaments. I definitely wouldn't mind that. I think Gray could get some strikeouts against the Arizona team that does have strikeouts in their lineup. But yeah, that's pretty much it for pitcher. I think if you're playing cash on this slate, go Severino, Greinke. For tournaments, I don't mind Jon Gray. I don't think Ervin Santana is the guy I'm going to be looking at. But if you are playing in some of those big field GPPs, I would imagine Santana is going to be the lowest owned out of all 4 of those guys. So I could see going with him in tournaments just because of ownership, but I don't think he's a really good spot for him. It wouldn't surprise me if he had a pretty rough game. So no Santana for me. Severino and Greinke, the optimal plays, and then Jon Gray in tournaments. But yeah, that's pretty much it for pitcher. Let's go ahead and look at catcher. Alright, so at catcher, we've obviously got like 10, 15 guys listed, but only 4 are going to be in the starting lineup. And I would imagine the 4 that are going to be in their lineups, Gary Sanchez, Iannetta, Lucroy, and possibly Castro. I think those are going to be the 4 starting catchers. I'm not seeing any projected lineups. I did look for projected lineups, but couldn't find any. But just taking a guess, I would imagine Sanchez, Iannetta, Lucroy, and Castro are going to be the 4 guys you choose from. And obviously, Gary Sanchez is the best play out of all 4 of them. But it is going to be hard to fit him in on this slate, especially at 4,700. Especially if you go Severino Greinke, that's going to really cut you dry on salary. So I don't mind saving here. I really like Chris Iannetta. I think he's an intriguing option at home in Arizona. We know it's a very hitter-friendly park, and Iannetta was hitting the ball pretty well before the regular season ended. So I think he's an intriguing option. I think he will be in the starting lineup. So he's the catcher I would probably roll with. Obviously, Gary Sanchez is the best catcher available if you can fit him in, but like I said, it's going to be pretty hard to fit him in. Under Iannetta, Jonathan Lucroy, I think he's intriguing as well. I believe he does have nice BVP against Greinke, so I think he's also intriguing as well. Then Jason Castro, I don't think I'm going to go to Castro, but I definitely would not mind it. You probably are going to have to play a batter or 2 against your pitchers just because it's a 2-game slate. So a guy like Castro definitely could take Severino deep. Even if he does, Severino could still pitch a solid game. Like, say Severino gives up a homer or 2. If you can figure out who's going to hit those homers, then that definitely could work out for you. Severino could still get 10 strikeouts but give up 2 home runs. And if you have the guys that hit home runs off of him, definitely could work out. So don't mind Castro, but of the 3 catchers, obviously Gary Sanchez is the best play on the board if you can fit him in. Chris Iannetta is probably the guy I'm going to be rolling with. And I do like Lucroy. I believe he's hit Greinke well. And then for GPPs, if you want a guy that could maybe take Severino deep, Jason Castro at 3,200, I think he's intriguing, but Lucroy, Iannetta, Sanchez are going to be the 3 guys I look at. But yeah, that's pretty much it for catcher. Like I said, it's a 2-game slate, so you're only going to have like 4 options at each position. So going through each position really isn't going to take much time just because we have so few options. So if I had to rank the catchers, I'd go Sanchez 1. I'd probably do it in the order they're in: Sanchez, Iannetta, Lucroy, and then Castro. That would be the way I would rank catchers. Iannetta probably being my favorite just because of how cheap he is, getting $1,200 off of Sanchez. But yeah, that's pretty much it for catcher. Let's go ahead and move on to first base. Alright, so at first base, we got more than 4 options here. We do have some guys that are multi-position eligible. I would imagine the guys that are going to be in the starting lineups, all the way from Goldschmidt down to Headley. Maybe Matt Holliday might be in the starting lineup, but I doubt it. But Goldschmidt down to Headley, I would imagine those are going to be the guys who start, so those are going to be the guys we look at. And leading the pack is Paul Goldschmidt at 5,400. I don't think the play is going to be to play Goldschmidt here. I think this is going to be a position where you look to save. There are some good cheap guys I like at first base, so I don't think I'll have any exposure to Goldschmidt at 5,400. Even if I played Greinke and Gray and saved at pitcher, I don't think I'd be paying up for Goldschmidt on this slate. So I don't really like him. I'm going to be looking to save here. And I have a lot of interest in Greg Bird at 3,600. He is a guy I will have a lot of exposure to on this slate. He's probably one of my core plays. I will be plugging him in at 3,600. It's just a really good spot for Bird, playing at home in Yankee Stadium, which is a great hitter's park for lefties. Going up against Irvin Santana, who I haven't really targeted a ton this year, but since it is a 2-game slate, you're going to have to pick somebody out to target, and I think Santana is the guy that we target. Greg Bird, he was hitting the ball very well before the regular season ended. So I think he's the play you want at first base if you're looking for a little bit cheap. I don't mind going with Headley either for 100 less. I think Headley's a good option if you're looking to save as well. Could play him at third base if you want to play Bird at first base. But Bird is definitely my favorite option. Mark Reynolds under Goldschmidt. Don't think I'm going to have much exposure to Reynolds. But he has hit Greinke well in the past as well. He does have nice BVP against Greinke, so he's definitely intriguing. But my favorite of all the first basemen is Greg Bird. He will probably be the first baseman I have the most exposure to. Might just go all in on Bird at first base. Don't really like any of these other options. Chase Headley is interesting, but like I said, I can play him at third base. And yeah, that is pretty much it for first base. I think here you're just looking for a little bit cheaper. I don't think it's going to be optimal to pay up for Goldschmidt here. I think you're looking for some of the cheap guys like Greg Bird. Headley I like at first base as well. If you're a BVP truther, definitely can consider Mark Reynolds at 3,800. I don't have a ton of interest in Joe Mauer or Ian Desmond. Probably won't be playing them at all on this slate. So the first baseman I'm going to be looking at, Reynolds. If you're a BVP guy, I think he's in play. Greg Bird, my favorite first baseman on this slate. And then Chase Headley, I think he's in play as well if you want to play him at first or third base. Like him at 3,500, looking to save some money. But yeah, that's pretty much it for first base. Let's go ahead and move on to second base. Alright, so for second base, our four options I'd imagine are going to be Dozier, Castro, LeMahieu, and Descalso. I would imagine would be starting for the Diamondbacks. I don't think Drury's going to start. So Dozier, Castro, LeMahieu, and Descalso are going to be the four guys we look at. And I think here, I don't think I'm going to be paying up for Dozier. I don't think I want to spend on him on this slate. I think Starlin Castro is probably going to be the guy target at second base. Looking to just get more exposure to the Yankees. The Yankees are by far my favorite team on this slate. So I do like Castro at 3,900. He's my favorite second baseman. I don't think I'll have much exposure to LeMahieu. If I'm going to target Greinke, I'd definitely do it with a guy that has a lot of power, and LeMahieu's not really that guy. I think if you are going to take a batter or two against your pitchers, definitely take guys that have power. And then under LeMahieu, I do like Daniel Descalso if he is in the lineup, batting like 6th or 5th. I think he's a very intriguing option, looking to save some money. 3,500. Do like him at second base or the outfield. You can play him at both positions. So I like Descalso, but by far my favorite, Starlin Castro. He'll be the second baseman that I probably have the most exposure to. So if I had to rank the second baseman, obviously Dozier is the best play, but I don't think it's going to be optimal to pay for him. So I'd probably rank him Castro, Dozier, LeMahieu be my third option, then Descalso. Maybe if Descalso's batting like 5th or 6th, I'd move him above LeMahieu. But right now I'm going to rank him Castro, Dozier, LeMahieu, and Descalso. But yeah, that's pretty much it for all the second basemen who I believe are going to be in the lineup. Let's go ahead and move on to third base. Alright, so for third base, I'm seeing maybe 6 guys that'll be in the lineup. Arenado, Sano might be in the lineup. Jake Lamb will be in the lineup, I imagine. Headley, Eduardo Escobar, and Todd Frazier. All those guys should be in the starting lineup. And I think the guy that clearly stands out to me here would probably be Jake Lamb at 3,900 going up against John Gray. I'll be plugging Jake Lamb into the core plays. He is a core play for me on this slate. Just 3,900 playing at home in Arizona. We know it's a very hitter-friendly park. And Jake Lamb will be getting the platoon split going up against the righty. Lamb does hit righties well. He's hit righties well all year. And especially at home in that hitter-friendly park, I think Jake Lamb's probably a core play for me on this slate. It will definitely be the third baseman I have the most exposure to. But like I said earlier, if you're going to take a couple batters or two against your pitchers, definitely do it with power guys. So I don't mind going with Arenado at 5,100. If you want to get a little different, get a little contrarian, I think he could possibly take Greinke deep. But I still think Greinke's going to pitch a very solid game. But he could give up a home run or two, and it could definitely come from Arenado or Blackmon in the outfield. Guys that have power, so I don't mind going with Arenado. Miguel Sano, I don't think I'm going to be playing Sano here. I know he just came off the DL, and he's in a really tough spot against a righty that could definitely strike him out. We know Sano has problems with striking out, especially against righties. And a guy like Severino, who's been pretty dominant against right-handed hitters this year, I don't think I'll be playing Sano. The other guys that should be in the starting lineup, Chase Headley, obviously I said back at first base, I think he's an intriguing play. I don't mind going with him at third base. I think he is definitely in play. And Eduardo Escobar, I wouldn't mind taking him against Severino, even though I am playing Severino. Escobar does have some power, and playing in Yankee Stadium, a good hitter's park, especially for left-handed guys. And Escobar will be batting from his left side against the righty. So I think Escobar's an intriguing play. Todd Frazier, don't think I'm going to be on Todd Frazier here. Much rather just get up to Escobar, Headley, or to Jake Lamb. Don't think I'm going to be going all the way down to Frazier. So definitely my favorite third baseman are these mid-range guys, Lamb, Headley, and Escobar. If you want to pay up, get contrarian. Don't mind Nolan Arenado. Not a big fan of Miguel Sano here. Won't have much exposure to him. Or Todd Frazier. Don't really like Todd Frazier here either. So definitely my favorite 3 on this slate are Jake Lamb, Headley, and Escobar. But yeah, that's pretty much it for third base. Let's go ahead and move on to shortstop. Alright, so for shortstop, our 4 guys that should be in the lineup, definitely Gregorius, Story, Polanco, Ketel Marte. Not sure if he'll be in the lineup or not. I highly doubt it. Since it is a must-win game for all these teams, I'd imagine they'd be rolling out their best lineup. And I don't think the Diamondbacks' best lineup has Ketel Marte in it, so I doubt Marte starts. The 4 starters are probably Gregorius, Story, Polanco, and Eduardo Escobar, who I mentioned back at third base. You can also play him at shortstop as well. But yeah, for shortstop, definitely a position I'm going to be looking to pay up. Absolutely love Didi Gregorius on this slate. I think it's a really good spot for him. Playing at home, we know Didi plays well at home, and especially in that hitter-friendly park in Yankee Stadium, which is very hitter-friendly to lefties. I think Gregorius is by far the top option. I don't think I'll have much exposure to Trevor Story. if I'm going to look in that tier, I'd definitely just find $400 and get to Gregorius, or I would pay down and going with Polanco. Don't mind taking Polanco against Severino. Polanco does have power and batting from his left side. Obviously a great hitter's park, batting from the left in Yankee Stadium. Polanco also does have some speed as well, so if he does get on base against Severino, could steal bases. So he's another guy. Him and Escobar are two guys I wouldn't mind taking against Severino, even if you are playing Severino. They definitely have power to take him deep, and they both could wind up stealing some bases. So I don't mind Polanco at the mid tier. Also, like I said, I do like Escobar at 3,500. But by far, my favorite shortstop on the slate is definitely Didi Gregorius. He'll be the shortstop I have the most exposure to. If I had to rank the shortstops, definitely go Didi, Polanco, Escobar, and Story. Don't think I'm going to have any exposure to Story. Just not a good spot for him. And especially right in the middle of that price tier, I'm not going to pay $4,100 for him. I'd just rather find $400 to go to Gregorius, or I'd just go $400 cheaper and play Polanco. So Story, not my favorite shortstop. Definitely Gregorius, Polanco, Escobar, and then Story. But yeah, that's pretty much it for shortstop. Let's go ahead and look at some outfielders. Alright, so for outfield, Aaron Judge is leading the pack at 5,500. Judge is a guy I'm going to try and jam into my lineups. It's definitely going to be scary to fade Aaron Judge on a 2-game slate. We know the guy has a ton of power. He could definitely hit 2 home runs here, and if he does, your day's pretty much over if you don't play him. So Aaron Judge would be a guy just try and jam in, even though he's really expensive. I'd imagine he's going to be pretty highly owned, so if he double dongs and you don't have him, your day's probably over with. So definitely try and jam in Judge. He's by far the top option at the outfield. But I do like JD Martinez under him for a little bit cheaper. I would imagine Martinez is going to be probably a lot lower owned than Judge. So if you're looking to go contrarian tournaments, going to Martinez or Blackman, who I also mentioned as well, taking guys with power against your pitcher on a 2-game slate, something I'm not afraid to do. So I do like Blackman at 5,200. Also like Martinez as well. But Aaron Judge is by far the top option. He'll probably be the highest owned of those 3 5K guys. So if you want to get different in tournaments, you can look to JD and Charlie Blackman. They'll be low owned compared to Judge, who I'd imagine is going to be insanely highly owned on this slate. And then looking to some guys in the 4K range, a couple guys here that interest me. I do like Brett Gardner at 4,200 going up against Santana. Like I said, the Yankees are going to be a team I'm looking to target on this slate, so I don't mind taking Gardner at 4,200. Also do like Eddie Rosario at 4K against Severino. Wouldn't mind taking him against my pitcher. Rosario is a guy that does have a lot of power. He could definitely take Severino deep. And with how highly owned I'd imagine Severino is going to be on the slate, if Rosario takes him deep and you do play Rosario, that is definitely a lot of leverage you're going to get on the field. So don't mind going with Rosario even if you are playing Severino. Like I said, I think Severino is going to pitch a really good game, but definitely wouldn't surprise me if he gave up a home run or two. And one of those could come from Rosario. So I do like Rosario at 4K. Also really like Aaron Hicks 3,800. He is a core play for me on this slate, especially if he's batting towards the top of the lineup, which I'd imagine he would be. Sometimes the Yankees, they will bat Ellsbury second, but most of the time usually Hicks is up there. So if he's at the top of the lineup, he is a core play for me on this slate. Like I said, I absolutely love the Yankees here. So I'm just going to be loading up on their offense. I think they're going to score the most runs on the slate. So I like Aaron Hicks. He's a core play for me at just 3,800. And then looking for cheaper guys, Carlos Gonzalez has hit Zach Greinke very well in the past. So if you're a BVP truther, you can consider Cargo at 3,700. But I doubt I'll be going there. I do really like Ellsbury 3,400. Even if he's towards the bottom of the lineup, I don't mind just going with the full Yankee stack on the slate. I think Ellsbury is definitely in play. He was hitting the ball pretty well before the regular season ended. So I do like Ellsbury at 3,400, looking for some savings. Also really like Max Kepler as well. He's another guy I wouldn't mind taking against Severino. Does have a lot of power. And I believe when the Yankees played against the Twins earlier this year, Severino pitched, and I think Kepler actually took Severino deep. So I think he's an intriguing option if you are looking for a leverage play. I'd imagine he'd be low owned because so many people are going to be playing Severino on this slate. So don't mind going with Kepler at 3,300. And yeah, that's pretty much it for outfield. By far the best outfield play on this slate, in my opinion, is Aaron Judge. I'll probably be gemming him into all my lineups. But if you're looking for some contrarian options for a little bit lower ownership, do like JD Martinez and Charlie Blackman. I think they're in play. In the 4K range, I like Brett Gardner. I think he's a great play. Eddie Rosario, I think he's good leverage off of all the Severino ownership. Rosario could take Severino deep, so He's a guy I'll have some interest in at 4K. Then 4K and under, Carlos Gonzalez. He's got BVP against Greinke, but I doubt I'll be playing Cargo on the slate. I'm just not a Cargo guy. But he has hit Greinke well in the past, so take that for what it's worth. But then looking for cheaper guys, Jacoby Ellsbury, absolutely love him at 3,400, especially if he'll be in the top of the lineup. I would imagine either Hicks or Ellsbury will be batting second. So I think whichever one of them does bat second is a good play. But even if they do bat towards the bottom of the lineup, still have some interest in them. So I like Ellsbury at 3,400. And then I also like Max Kepler at 3,300, a guy that could take Severino deep and is very, very cheap. Frees you up some salary to where you can fit in Judge, who I think is a must-play on the slate. So I do like Max Kepler as well in the 3K range. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this 2-game slate. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like and be sure to subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. I will be doing these MLB videos all the way up till the regular season starts for NBA. So for the next 2 weeks, she'll be pumping out these MLB videos for you guys as long as you are enjoying them. I'm not sure if I'll be doing full breakdowns like this for every slate. I wanted to do this just because it was a 2-game slate and there's not a lot of options. I figured I could go through each option. But when we get the 3- and 4-game slates, not sure if I'll be doing full breakdowns there. I guess I'll decide when that time comes. But if you guys did enjoy the full breakdown, then let me know down in the comments below. I don't mind doing them for the bigger slates as long as you guys enjoy them. Just let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to drop a like on the video as well if you did enjoy the full breakdown. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this breakdown of the wildcard games. Be sure to check out my NFL video for Week 5 when that comes out Tuesday afternoon. And yeah, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Good luck, guys. Peace.
Oh, sauce it down, sauce it up. You too much, ain't enough, ain't enough. Where you from? Throw it out, going nuts, going down. Sauce it down, sauce it up. You too much, ain't enough, ain't enough.